hasn't changed from what we had from last year.
You only need money the day of the dinner,
It was
right?
around 39,000.
I think that's what she was initially thinking for Baldwin and Sours, but they brought it down to 33.
Okay.
And then she was guessing close to 20.
I have,
How you doing, Dan?
I have a
Wonderful, how are you?
fine.
Hey, good.
This is custom.
I ain't bad.
Jealous. One left hand. Just ride the leg.
Did you really?
Oh.
They shouldn't have to scream at him anymore because he's got new ears.
Maybe
Oh,
we-
good.
Maybe when that came up a few years ago when we talked about doing it, but that was probably when.
You may still scream at him, but.
Gonna have to,
We thought
gonna
about
have to
doing
check
that, but we
Cletus's
didn't realize it was
frequency
very
and
much
Dick's
paid for,
frequency,
so
make sure they don't.
Okay.
Okay.
So now it's gonna
What says
work.
that?
Needs addressed a little bit.
5:30, we get streets and drainage started. Bob, you want to do the report there?
Okay. We discussed the 30th Street and Custer upgrade, which would incorporate a left-hand turn signal to go southbound and northbound. Right now, we are doing like a free traffic study there to see when the peak hours are. That's going to be around 50 days before that's completed. But we wanted to make sure that council was on board what we're trying to do there, and we'll explain some of the things that we're going to do. It would require what we're asking for, a new, like a controller box or master box for the intersection. That's been hit by lightning, it's been hit by vehicles. What year is it, Chris?
That whole intersection was last upgraded in 1986. So everything at that intersection was that old. Probably the oldest we have, other than State Route 13. That intersection might be older, but it's gonna get done in 2 years, 3 years anyway, so.
You need a new, what is it?
Yes, that's you take out the
Control
plate,
box.
they fall apart.
Control
They
box.
fall apart. It's amazing. It's just got a little thicker, it's.
And then we would have to upgrade where we have a 3-head there now, we have to upgrade to a 5-head.
Yeah, we
How about the
probably-
wiring?
I wanna have everything inspected as far as the wire. I mean, if that, all those things weigh 60 pounds. If they all been hanging on there since 1986, I would recommend we check out all the wiring. Of course, it'll be upgrading with LEDs instead of the bulb, that's one of the few that, about half of them.
What's the price of mass arms there?
Well, we could certainly look into it, but I mean, I have a quote just of all the electronics and everything involved is $33,000 just to purchase this stuff. That's not to install. We work with MP Dory, we work with some others, but 33,000 to purchase the cabinet, to purchase all the traffic lights, the pedestrian crossings, and all that. Installation will be, additional to that.
So let me guess here. With the installation, you're probably looking at about 50?
Total?
Yeah.
Probably 50, 55.
Usually
Assuming-
labor is about half of
Yeah,
materials.
probably about 20,000. Now, if we did mast arms, it'd be much more to even purchase them, it'd be much more. See, we have the metal poles already there, and they're on wires. The metal poles are probably plenty adequate there if we wanted to do a span wire again.
Yeah.
And that would have cameras, and, loop detection there too.
Yeah.
And it'd be adding, we have a lot of requests, and, Bob's had emails, I've had, I think maybe even I've sent some to you, Mayor, about people not being able to turn on to Custer if they're coming
Going
southbound. You're just
Yeah.
stuck. You gotta wait for the light to turn and then.
Exactly. You go out there, the
Yeah.
light's red,
Yeah.
you're first in
Yeah.
line. You go out there and you claim your intersection, you wait until, the northbound traffic stops, and then you're the one car that gets to go.
Yeah, I mean, when I leave.
Not always.
If I ever go north on 30th Street, I never leave to go Central Street.
No.
I always go up to the light, because it's almost
Clear.
impossible to make a left-hand turn.
Yeah.
From there. We have $50,000 budgeted in capital improvements for the
Yeah.
project. We're telling you that it could be a little bit over that, but hopefully it's not going to be much over that. We are not going to do the engineering on this. We think that we get stuff involved with ours, they know what we want.
Yeah.
The only thing that we want to discuss are the crosswalks at that intersection. There are two, or there one or two that's operative. Two
Currently two, going across Custer and then going across 30th Street to get-go.
Which, to go across 30th Street, it goes from the gas station over to, the other side of 30th
So,
Street. And
so there's a, let me just make sure, because I'm thinking of the intersection here in my head. So there's a crosswalk that goes from the Speedway
Yes.
across the street to,
North
not where
side
Comfy Corner thing
No,
is, or whatever,
towards
the other
Garfield.
corner.
Yes,
Yeah.
towards Garfield.
And then where is the other?
That one from Garfield Corner over to get-go.
Yeah.
Like that.
And that's,
Okay.
what happened was when it got paved with the grant in 2013, 14, I think,
It's been a while.
30th Street.
Yeah.
They eliminated two of the crosswalks, saying that the one, I mean, I don't know if you remember, it got
Yeah.
striped and then they had to race it off. They said that that wasn't legal, I think, because they couldn't put
There was some
the
ADA
safety.
compliance,
Yeah, the
wasn't there?
ADA compliance.
Yeah.
thing.
There- and
On the
then-
gas station side too.
Yeah,
Well,
they
and
couldn't
then
put
on
that
the
pad with the
corner-
bumpy things on
Right,
it. Yeah.
Right, and on Country Corner side, we needed to get an easement, we didn't have it.
Right.
And we didn't own the property there, we didn't have enough right of way.
Yeah.
So that is another reason why, instead of
That's the
going
reason.
back into the project and opening it back up, they
Yeah.
just decided to eliminate it. But what we want to know is, do we wanna have, 4 crosswalks there? We are getting a lot more pedestrian
Yeah.
traffic
Yeah.
in the city, I mean, I see it every day. Now, if it's more really up there at Andover's where I see a lot of those people are crossing to get over, across 30th Street to the mall or wherever they're going over there. But we want to look at if we need to put all 4 crosswalks back in there, and if we do that.
Well, the same issues would apply though. We don't have easement. It'd have to be ADA compliant if we do something. We can't do it and it not be ADA compliant.
Right.
So the issues that we faced a couple of years ago when it was repaved and
They're
striped
still
would
there.
be the same
We would
issues.
just ask for an easement from Country Corner. I would think they want people to walk across the street and
I
get to their
think so.
place. They may give it to us.
Some say
Maybe.
kids.
At the time
Yeah.
when that was engineered, they was gonna go
It was
ahead
just too late
and
after the
pursue
project.
that, but it was time to pave, so they said, all right, let's just pave it and,
They
So
were
now you got the
wanting to-
walk and don't walk sign, the additional
Right.
walk and don't walk signs with the
Yeah.
beeper thingies.
People walk up there, cause they're still there, they're just inactive, and then,
Yeah.
they're kinda on a lost island when they get to there.
Uh-huh.
Well, that we may have to have Jobs look at it, but it'll be a lot less than what we anticipated earlier, what the
Yeah.
engineering would do. But, yeah.
They're talking about, walking traffic. I've noticed a huge increase on 79 here.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to look
I
at
think
that because
You're right.
you see some close calls
Pedestrian
sometimes
safety's
down
gonna
through
be a
here.
big concern.
Pedestrian traffic has to
We've
go
been
down
there
all the
before.
time.
We're just getting into it, but yeah, we
You
have
know,
so many
I-
more people that are walking now.
I think that, if you remember, back when, Brian and I both were, one of the things that we said that when they put the new, median in there, we ought to really start looking about sidewalks for people there. Because, there's a lot of bicycle traffic even there.
The reason we didn't do it was gonna have to buy all that land.
That's true.
We'd have to
I
take
mean,
the
that's
right
the
of
reason
way.
it wasn't done.
And then the crosswalks, John said
And
that they
it
would
goes
reduce
over
the
and goes down.
crosswalks, but they're gonna cross here regardless.
Yeah.
And
crossing.
they're crossing.
I saw 2 at once crossing at the round bank on 79 the other day.
I
That's
see 'em
dangerous.
running.
Yeah.
Running. They-
Well,
One
they
guy
better.
was on a bike and fell down halfway through.
They catch the middle lane, and they wait a minute, and then they go again, it's scary.
I mean, I was like, you don't even wanna look.
So our question is, do you want us to look, would you want 4 crosswalks there, or do we even have to see if that is a requirement for the intersection to have those 4 crosswalks? I don't know, again, we always say if something happens, are we liable for whatever? I don't know, but, we could have Jobs look at the crosswalk situation and see if that's something that we wanna do while we're doing the upgrade to the intersection.
Tim, let me ask you. If something like this were going on in Newark, what, as a city engineer in Newark, what would you do? What value would you add to look at whether or not we should do this or how we should do it? I'm trying to understand, maybe Bob, why we would want to pay Jobs.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we
Well,
know what the ADA compliance rules are with the pads and all that kind of stuff. I'm just wondering.
Well, like the comfy corner, if there is no sidewalk, once you get to that corner, there's essentially no sidewalk on that side of the street to go anywhere. So it's like going to nowhere. It's almost like crossing 79 at Overland.
Yeah.
You know, when you go to the Reno Center corner,
Yeah.
there's just a pad there with a place to push, but then you have to walk on the street or walk through the grass through the parking lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of, again, no place, going to somewhere. You give them at least a place to get to off the street.
Uh-huh.
So you could do, that would be the minimum that you could do. The problem you have to worry about grades. The other thing is, if you do all four corners so they can cross every which way, you're crossing 30th Street like two places, and you may only want to cross one, make the people go like a U shape, because if you cross both, then anytime someone pushes the button, you gotta give them enough time to cross the whole street, and that's gonna hold up
Yeah.
the traffic completely. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because you can't do the turning movements
Yeah.
while someone's crossing.
Yeah.
And it goes for a lot longer period of time. I don't know how much traffic you have the way people are going, but I almost think if you would cross from Comfy Corner to Get Go to, I'll call it Garfield Corner to Speedway, because most people I think would be either
Right.
coming from Speedway going back over that way or coming to get to Get Go or going
So
to Garfield.
not having a crossing on the northern side of
Northern
that
side.
intersection.
The northern
Well,
one,
because,
yeah.
it all depends on your turn. If you had one there, I don't know how many people do it now, come out of Custer and make a right-hand turn to go north on 30th. But if you have a crosswalk there, then those cars, you're gonna have to watch people crossing, because
Yeah.
those people are gonna be used to someone crossing
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like not protected
Yeah.
when you turn there. The other thing is, you would need lights on both sides. Now I think you almost never have to do the countdown lights for the crosswalk and stuff, and give them time. And,
With the beeper thing, right?
Well, there's all kinds of standards and stuff now, just depending how much you want to hit on it and everything. But, it's just gonna add cost, or what you do,
Yeah.
But if you thought you wanted to do a sidewalk on that side of 30th Street, eventually get down to Swainford and Cynthia, stuff like that, this would be a good start, as far as get people going down there, and that way they come up the street. Because there is a path, people have walked in the grass, you can tell there's a path and stuff.
Yeah.
And if you go to ADA compliant books and stuff like that, they usually say, if there's a path there, then it needs to be you should be looking to put a walk in, because people are actually using it as a walk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But whether you actually have to do it or not, and as far as a warrant to cross or not cross and stuff, they usually say if an able-bodied person can legally cross at that place, whether it's a crosswalk or not, then you should put one in so a person handicapped could cross. Okay? But that gets into a gray area too, because there's some place you just don't want people crossing,
Yeah.
it's too dangerous. And
Well,
so,
if you, like you're saying there, if you did that, of not having the crosswalk there, you really wouldn't have to worry about you get the easement, you just right away.
I haven't looked at, it's usually what we do, I'm the one that goes out and looks at the intersection, design all the handicap ones for NARC and stuff, and it's just a matter of looking at it and figuring how you think, best go, and then sometimes you have to, actually do elevation shots and stuff, but most of the time you can just picture it in your mind and draw it,
Well, one time there were
engineer.
four, right? Four
Yeah,
crosswalks.
just
And that's,
3
yeah.
years ago.
And it probably is right for the school being there.
Right.
The people that should there, should walk to school, and that would probably be the best, the ultimate
Right.
thing to do would be to put four in there. It won't cost that much more, it's just, your timing of your lights too, as far as
Yeah,
with
you
with the
have-
left turn arrows, all that kind of stuff is gonna change your timing for traffic flow through there.
Are we looking into the possibility of a turn light there? Where the lane is, where the people are going?
Yes, a 5-headed light
Yeah.
there, would have
It
its
would
own
be a dedicated
dedicated.
left-hand turn, though it
Alright.
would be read by if traffic that doesn't
Yeah,
warrant
on
it,
the-
then
Right,
you don't want it to.
if nobody pulls into there to trip it.
Most
then-
times
okay.
during the day, it's probably gonna be working all
Oh,
day
yeah.
long.
And two, the north side, like you said there again, and you mentioned that at the end, the school being so close, the three-way made sense, but now that you think all the kids a lot of them are gonna cut down over the middle,
Right.
down through, behind Garfield, I guess. but a lot of them are gonna
Yeah.
come right down 30th Street.
That's Kennedy for a second, you don't see very many walkers.
Yeah.
I like your, at least from get-go over to Comfrey,
Yeah.
you see a path there,
Yeah.
so they are walking that.
They're walking
And they're
that.
kind of stranded and not
Yeah.
getting across, at least there, the north side, yeah, that sounds all
Yeah,
right.
I mean, we do that several places,
Mhm.
or just do the three. The main street, you only cross once, the side streets, you cross both of them, you know.
Will Baldwin Sowers know how, about the crossings at all too?
Mm, Well, yeah, and right now, we're figuring all four, and then if we don't do all four, we'll just take the one side off.
And maybe we won't need Jobs to do that at Baldwin Sowers.
No, if we're
Lead us out,
comfortable
'cause I
with-
don't know what you can do, what you can't do. If it's a dedicated turn, then you're gonna have to change how people can walk. Cause I think crossing Custer now, it's, as long as that light is green on 30th Street, that's a walk, right, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it is.
But what I'm saying is, if you come in southbound, if you have someone going to turn left on the Custer, you can't have the walk light on at the same time they get a
Right,
green arrow. You
right,
can't have both of
right,
those.
That's what they have.
Because otherwise, the people think they got the right way to walk, and the person with the green arrow thinks they can turn.
But you really wouldn't need Joseph Henderson.
No.
No, they could,
No, not for that.
Okay.
they could.
So what side did you comment on? You just made a comment that said, only cross the main street once, and side streets both.
Like 30th Street, only cross it once.
Right.
But the side streets, you have, both side streets get across.
My understanding was that that's not what you originally said.
No.
It's, I tell you what, it's just like up at 79, well, not quite, because they only do two ways, never mind.
It's
Forget
almost
that.
like that, except not at all.
Yeah, it's not that at all, because you can't go
Squares
either
might
way.
be.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a place that we have that we do that, but.
Across 30th once, and then you get
I do agree though, the right turn
You know,
from
cross Custer, cross Clarence, then across, and this is Garfield over here on the south side of the intersection. Currently, this one has been, wiped out, not there, so then leave that one blind. That way, if they do start here, they can at least get there, they can go across and then over there. And then you have all the people walking through along there. That's how, but see, currently this one is not enacted, and I don't know why, but, you know, people back from Baldwin Sowers, I don't know, it's legal to have someone not be able to get back, you know, how you
Yeah,
get them over.
well, that's what I said, that's why that one
And
should be at least
what
in
I told
there.
Bob, I said, I don't know.
You can get, with
exactly.
three-way, you can get everywhere.
I just thought of something, that, death lane that comes down as you're going, what is she called? The one as you're going north on 30th Street and you cross, Custer, and that one person doesn't realize that that's a right turn lane only
Oh,
to turn on to
yeah,
Custer.
yeah.
I don't know that we want a crosswalk leading it from, what is it, Speedway to Comfrey, because they'll just get.
That's another thing, I mean,
That's another trap that, holy cow, that lane is.
If you have, yeah.
but the traffic gotta be stopped when they're
Yeah,
crossing there anyway.
traffic should be set up.
Should be.
Yeah, should for that.
Yeah, nothing's set up, I mean, you know.
Well, I mean, we think that we're gonna do this, we gotta do the crosswalks, right, make sure that it's the way it's supposed to be, so. If Baldwin Sowers can tell us what that is, then that's fine.
Take a half hour to get through with all the lights and turns and everything else.
Yeah, there used to be no lights on till
But it'll
we
be,
built them all.
see, there's no detection there currently anyway, so it'll be a much better scenario, you know, those turn lanes should only work when, you know, there's a call. And they recommend smart span, I know you guys just put in one, and I want to talk to BJ to see, you know, if there's 30th Street, that one that hangs on the guy on the wire.
In other
Since
words,
we don't
it's-
have mast
it's
arm,
not-
now we could go the mast arm route, but.
It's something that's not tripped by something in the,
It would
in
be,
the
it would
pavement,
be a
it'd
camera
something.
that hangs on the wire,
Okay,
across the wires, and it focuses in on the, traffic lane,
okay.
and it puts the call in. Newark just installed one at 30th Street in Church,
Oh, okay.
up there where they're
Well,
doing
the
that
temporary.
upgrade there, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was one of the first ones I knew of that has been installed, to see how they are working, since currently all of ours are on a mast arm, but we don't have mast arms at this intersection.
Now, is this the same kind of camera seen there, or is this the one that Lancaster has? Remember they came and showed us a demonstration?
I guess
Like, so We had a company
It's
come.
I think it's a little different. I'm
Just
not
the
sure.
one thing,
Yeah.
just
It's
the one.
a single camera though. but
The eye.
It's a single camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a single camera, but I don't know if it's the same company or the
The same concept.
Same concept,
Okay.
yes, yes. But I don't know if it's the same.
I mean, it's basically the same cameras as we already have on all of our mast arms, it's just not hanging on an arm from the mast arm, it's gonna be strapped to the cables, basically. It's allowed to bounce. What it does is even though the wind, it's focusing in on the pavement in that set spot. And somehow, I don't know, you know, I don't.
You get
Except in
a
air,
30-mile-an-hour breeze.
It,
Yeah.
it's
somehow
pavement
gonna-
markings, you
Huh?
know, and that's the one, I think they had to put some pavement markings down late this fall or something over
Okay.
there, but.
So stiff breezes, it's still gonna detect the
Depending
car.
on-
If it freezes, yes. If, sometimes if snow impacts them, we've had that happen on 79 a couple times. For the most part, the cameras have been good, other than.
Are those
there's-
LEDs and those lights 30s and custom?
No. They would be. I mean, we put 'em-
We will get estimates and come back with legislative requests what we know, and hopefully it's in that, we're gonna say $50,000 to $60,000 range, but we do have $50,000 in capital improvements for it, that's the number one item, so. We will look at that, and we'll look at 3 crosswalks, and basically.
The 3 crosswalks part of that 55,000, or that's an addition?
I would
Well,
s-
unless we have to replace what's there.
Yeah.
We already have the crosswalks there.
Yeah, that would be including that. Well, the bid on the equipment is for 4 of them, so, the installation, we won't have a price for that yet. But, and, you know, even down the road, you could add the 4th if you want to, you know. The one main thing is the cabinet will be there, that's all gonna be modern. If, you know, down the road, if we wanna sync those and make all 3 intersections, you know,
And that
an
would be nice to
interconnect, we
sync
could
all
do that
those
as
up.
well. It's just, the cabinet's much needed, because it's, like I say, it's
Outdated. 1986. I think.
1986, yeah. So I'm assuming all the wiring, all the traffic heads, everything was probably done at that one shot.
Yeah.
And it's had a history of going on flash a lot lately, and, you know, the detectors are little clicker things, and you open it up and it just sounds like popcorn going off in there. It's just, you hate to open the thing.
Yeah.
It's hanging there by one strap, it's been struck so many times, I mean, it's a time bomb right there.
All right, we'll come back when we have, all the info, maybe by next month. But again, they're doing that traffic study a little bit there too, so we talk to that to see exactly what's going on there. And Eddie might be reporting on that, even if he reads that for us. Number 2, and that's, Meritor camera, and that's kinda associated with the traffic study. We did get the traffic study back on 79. We're going to meet with, Joseph Henderson on that to, look at their recommendations and then add some things that maybe we think would make 79 a little bit better. So we'll meet with Susan from Joe's and go over that. But before they can enact the changing of the lights, they needed a camera at the Meritor light there. And is that up yet?
We're actually, putting that up on Wednesday,
Okay.
and, we're gonna install it tomorrow, and then, they're gonna come and wire it into the box Wednesday.
What are they doing?
The the loop over at the park is, I don't know if you noticed, it's been running good lately, I don't know, or better, but it'll trip and go to fault, and then, once it
Yeah, it
does that, it's
stops.
putting in a call on, you know, so it'll stop 79 when there's no one there, and,
That infuriates.
yeah, oh yeah, and it's from the mound builder's side. So we're gonna put a single camera, which is right off the box, so we'll look at that one and be able to do detection for that one.
So that's a requirement that we had to do before.
Yeah, they wanted-
Before they changed the light, so we'll meet with
But
them.
the camera's in the.
Camera, we have the camera at our shop, yeah, it'll be
It's
installed
not yet
this
been
week.
installed, but they have it.
Yeah.
Before they change the lights.
Before they're looking at, it's about 3 weeks before they're ready for, they wanna go over everything and then.
Yeah, they're waiting for us to give suggestions back to them
Yeah.
for what we think of their recommendations. I know they're gonna wanna change left-hand turn on Putnam, going, northbound, I think that's called that lagging, I think we talked about that a little bit at the last meeting, where instead of, it goes at the beginning, with
It's
traffic.
currently leading, and they
Yeah.
wanna make it a lag,
Lag.
which, there, I don't know that's gonna help them much, cause that's gotta be a protected turn because of the U-turns anyway, so I don't know on that one, if that's, you know, unless they have another idea that they can
And
still
it's
keep
kinda
that
the same
protected.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
logically, it doesn't make sense if
No.
that would.
Now, the other
help.
one they have is at Kroger's,
At
the
Kroger's,
southbound,
yeah.
that one could because there is no U-turn or anything.
Right.
The theory is there, if they do that, it'll keep the green cycle longer on 79. Because if it goes to green, instead of giving them a 5-second arrow and stopping this northbound lane, there's a good chance that they'll get a chance to clear before, and then auction, you know,
Yeah.
it's just a game of
So if
seconds
you
there,
have
so-
nobody coming in the other direction, the loops detect that there's nobody coming in the other direction. And so it'll give you the green arrow to turn.
Well,
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it just gives you a green bulb.
yeah, and what it will do is if they have it clear by the time the cycle's out, it'll give them a chance to clear at the end. If I got
Which
that
is the
right.
lagging part of it.
That's the lagging part.
It goes after, the way it's not, stops all traffic, and then you get to turn left. This way, it turns green, you can go, but if you can't make it, then it will
Right.
stop traffic,
Give them
and
a
let you
protector
go.
on there.
So it kinda keeps traffic moving until it has to stop, you know, to go that left hand turn. And it's called lagging, which we don't have those in the city, it's, but they're make recommendations on too. So that'll all be explained, and we'll go over all that. All right,
Okay.
number 3, we've talked about 79 and Hopewell, the mast arm. As far as I know, Chris, it's still,
It's not bouncing no more. Our
there's no,
engineer-
there's no bounce in our mast arm, so that's,
I noticed it was looking good. It was looking better than a couple of the
And
other
it doesn't look
mast arms at
awful
that
either, though,
intersection.
that's the
Yeah.
thing, I thought
That's
this is
right.
gonna look hideous, but,
Yeah.
I don't know, I mean,
It works.
it works, yeah, that guy had a
so
good
we have
idea,
mastered
and,
physics.
There you
yeah,
go.
we use some of our scrapyard stuff and put a sign, I mean, if you're up in the sky, you'll be able to see a sign looking down from it, you know, but.
What does it say?
I think it's an arrow or something. It's a left turn arrow, so for the helicopters to turn left there, I guess.
They're going to do aerial photos, so it'll probably
Yeah.
be the new aerial photos.
It's
coming
just a
out.
sign like mounted, you know, and it's.
I
don't know
I
if
guess
it's
we
the
got some
extra weight
aeronautical
there, or
engineers in
he
the
said
street
it's-
department.
Yeah, I don't know, I think it's more.
No, actually, I noticed, what was it? It was probably sometime last week, really windy day. I took a look at it, it was actually bouncing less
Yeah,
than
it's-
one or two of the other mast
Yeah,
arms at
it
that same
has.
intersection, so.
Supposedly.
I think we may have gotten
We had
it.
something like that before the whole project started,
Right.
and we didn't know exactly what it was, cause it got removed and never put back up. Of course,
Yeah.
it got moved, you would've thought it would've fixed the problem, but the ground must be unstable there, I don't know.
What is that thing that you put on?
It's a homemade pen, really.
Yeah,
Photo-
yeah.
Photo stabilizer.
Yeah.
Just
It's
how
like,
they-
Doug, it's like you think of the tail
Yeah.
of an airplane, right?
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
the piece
Yeah.
that comes up, but then you got the horizontal
Right,
piece.
yeah.
That's the thinking
Yeah.
behind
You
it.
know? We went and looked at one, they put someone similar out by Longburger, and, we looked at that, and said, all right, we can make that. He said theirs would bounce 3 foot there before they put something like that up there. And then he ended up showing up and bringing us something that he had kinda made up with, similar to what we already had.
The guy from ODOT?
Yeah, guys from District 5 did.
It's fun to watch traffic stop there, and then they would do this.
When we put that, I mean, you just had to touch that thing like that, and,
It would start.
yeah, I don't know what's up with it.
So that looks
Okay.
good, so that was, sometimes weird things happen, we fix things, but that's good. Since we have Chris here, how much salt do we have, how much do we have to
Well,
buy yet?
we still have 400 tons that we're gonna be purchasing, so that will give us,
You're purchasing 400 ton yet?
yes, yeah,
How much
yeah.
have you got left now?
Probably 250 ton in there, so we'll start out the season next year.
What's the barn hold?
800 to 900 ton,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
yeah. I mean, I think
So you still
our
got
our
room-
allotment
you-
was 800 ton that we were on the basically contract to purchase.
Would you just put the salt in it now?
Yeah,
And at
we'll
the
go-
beginning of next season, throw some grit in there too? I know
Right,
you
we'll
guys
go
mix
ahead and get
with-
it filled, that way rain's not getting, wherever it's being stored now, chances are it's outside, so we wanna have it filled up in ours.
So we're contracted to buy that other four.
We gotta buy
right?
within 10% of our bid price.
Yeah.
I mean, we generally bid 750 to 800, after the last 2 winters, we did 800 this
What
winter.
price did we get it at?
70,
It was higher.
It was 72 something, I believe.
We paid
You
as
mu-
much as over 80, and we paid at least as 50 something. I think.
You know, I bet you buy the 90%, I bet you the price is gonna be cheaper next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gonna have a lot of stockpile probably.
Exactly. Remember what happened 2 or 3 years ago? We had a real mild winter, salt price dropped that next year.
Yeah, 'cause they're gonna have a lot at all those storage areas to contend with.
Yeah, they're gonna wanna get rid of that.
And winter's over.
That storage barn.
Yeah, I don't anticipate.
That's right,
using
Nick's
anymore.
clean shaved, no mustache or anything, it is
Yeah.
spring.
Yeah,
Chris, the storage barn holds 800 tons.
800 to 900 pounds.
See,
I think.
he shaves,
If we
it's
had
supposed to be
900 in
70
there, it'd be
degrees this
spilling out a
week.
little bit, but it would be protected.
I like it.
Depends on whether it's wet or dry.
Yeah. How heavy it is too.
Light
About
salt.
tonnage, though, you know, is that wet
Depends
material?
on whether it's light, you ever hear that new salt, that light salt?
Oh,
It's light salt or.
Oh, yeah. Wet salt. Now, if it was brine wet, that'd be all right though. Or so it-
We weigh more, you
Yeah.
more to pay for that.
That's, I'll have unless somebody else has something.
I have a question. I had a citizen get a hold of me last week, and they live down off Radium somewhere, just bought a place maybe on Radium, but anyways, they wanted to know why they can't turn right on red onto Hopewell, or onto Route 79 off of Radium. They said it really caused them a lot of time when really nobody was coming. And I said, I don't know what the answer is, but I'll.
Yeah,
Because there's
of
a
the
U-turn.
is why, I mean,
Because of the U-turn.
that's.
Same thing with,
Putnam
Overland.
and Putnam,
Yeah.
the same way.
So if they're coming southbound, they wanna make.
A lot of people do it.
Is that
They
what
do it,
Yeah,
yeah.
they'll do it.
They do it all the time.
But
What
because of the
that
southbound.
Hopewell and 30th, or
Yes.
Hopewell and 79.
There's land.
Yeah.
2 times
Check-
last month, I've been up to the credit union, come out there, and I'd be out in the middle of the intersection, here come a guy turning left off 79. They shouldn't allow no turns off 79 except for the light there, because
That's because of the southbound U-turn.
Well, right, because if they're turning right and then,
Yeah.
you wouldn't know that there's a U-turn cycle coming,
Yeah.
collision right there, and.
They had to do that at those
That's probably
intersections,
the
Brian, where the U-turns are, 'cause you
Well,
don't
that's fine.
know.
I needed a good answer, and that's a good answer.
That's what it
That's
is.
also that lighting there,
And you have to have
understand
a-
how lighting would work
I don't
on
either.
the turn, but
Right on
for
red,
sure,
coming
red.
out of.
unless they're
Radium.
talking something
Mike,
different.
how's that meeting you're gonna be with?
Out of Radium Drive, so
I
turning
don't know with
north.
Susan,
on 72.
I don't think we have that.
They have to
meeting
have
set
it
yet
type
with
of-
That's
Susan.
because of the
I know within 3 weeks is when
southbound
they're wanting to meet
U-turn.
here.
Bob Wainford said there was some
On 79.
The flip side of that coin, Brian, would
Yeah,
be
that's, it's not a
if
sign.
you're
it's not
on
our sign. It's
Parkview,
not our sign.
there beside Chipotle.
The sign itself is.
If you wanna turn right,
This is something we put
since
up.
there's no U-turn at the end of that median, you can turn right on red.
Yeah, there's always some.
It was a
But we
sign-
kinda
is it
own
a
that
direction
road.
sign, like a, what's in the lane?
Perfect.
Probably, it's, yeah, it's right there by, Royal King.
It's because of the southbound U-turn.
That's kind of,
About that.
So you can see what's happening.
well, before, we never replaced any signs that
Coming
weren't
south,
ours.
they would make the U-turn.
We have a time or two for them all, but,
Some of us. Other than
see, some of those were even anchored with concrete.
Is it a necessary sign? mean,
I don't even know which one it is, I just know.
That's not even our sign.
It's not necessary, they don't worry about it, they can pick it up when they mow their grass.
It's just something the mall put up.
Check it out, Chris, see what
Yeah,
the
see what it
sign
Somebody's
is.
see
See
what it
what-
is.
picking it up and
It's
throwing it
not
out in the
necessary,
street if they
if
mow.
necessary, I wouldn't put it up. But they-
Okay.
I mean,
Anything
it's
else?
probably
Well,
necessary to them,
no.
and it's probably,
But,
you
yeah,
know,
but
but.
what they- yeah.
All right.
But then
Nothing else, to report to adjourn streets at 6:04.
Okay, we'll call Parks, Recreation, and Davis Shai to order at 6:04. First item, the agreement between the Licking County Parks District. Bob?
All right, I'll set this up for the mayor. As I talked about the last time and tonight, tonight is the sealing for the pool parking lot, but to seal the bike paths, we have asked County Park District to help us. They're willing to pay 50%, and we have legislation tonight for that. They're willing to pay 50% on our bike path ceiling. But with that, they wanted us to sign an agreement with them. I think we discussed a little bit. The mayor had a few issues with the agreement. I think some words were changed. Bob Williams from County Park District did not have a problem with it. He asked to give it to their attorneys to look over, and then if that is approved, then we will have an agreement with the County Park District. Mayor, do you want to talk about what things that you wanted to change on the agreement, or?
Just that, there were a couple parts of it that were a little too one-sided in the city having to comply with Parks District stuff. The agreement was just basically lifted from a similar type of agreement that they've done with a different community. One that maybe hasn't made the investment into the bike path as we have. So Bob and I met with Bob Williams a week or so ago, and just, I laid out what my concerns were with it. Bob was fine with it, and so he went, redrafted it. Like Bob Geller just said, it needs to be reviewed, I think, by somebody in the county prosecutor's office, but they probably won't have any problem with it, and David Morrison won't have any problem with it. So hopefully, when we meet again in a couple of weeks, you'll have before you Bob, would it be a resolution authorizing me to sign?
It's up to you. Dave said that we didn't have to have anything approved by council, that it wasn't required to have anything approved by council. If you wanted to do a resolution, you could. If you wanted to do an ordinance, you could, but it wasn't required to do it. So I had told the mayor that we could just explain the agreement to council and just move forward from there.
We should
without
have,
any legislation.
when we meet again in 2 weeks, we should have the final agreement. I'll share that with you all so you guys can see it. But basically what it is, it's kind of a, somewhat of a partnership between us and the Parks District, where we agree to adhere to a certain standard for the paths, and if both sides see that there's an issue, we'll work together to try to correct it. If the Parks Department, if our Parks Department's doing something and can be nice enough to extend it, beyond what, our path into their path a little bit, fine. If they have some equipment or something that we can borrow, or they're doing something and they extend it into Heath, fine. It's just more along the lines of a partnership for the future maintenance of the paths.
And what I think will help us in the end, Bob and I are gonna meet in a month or two and go over our trails, like trails we have. He doesn't know exactly, he has maps of it and everything, but he wants to walk it and see what it looks like. And my biggest concern is the going to Hopewell Drive. The Davis Foundation gave us, it's very close to the river. If we need any kind of bank reinforcement or anything, that could be, he's gonna look at that. But if we have some problems, they would probably be willing to pay 50% towards that bank restoration, which, would help us tremendously. So to work with them on some things, or even help them in an area, maybe in their Heath, or them working with us and help them inspect the trails and also help us financially, I think it's a great thing.
Yep.
To get involved with. So.
All of us that live in Heath are paying that county Parks District tax, so it's just a way of capturing some of that money back into the community.
That's what we're getting for in return.
Yeah.
Is 50-50 kind of the split for most of the other communities? Is
That was my impression.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
the
consistent?
whole, the contract that everyone basically signs, and they've had to tweak it for other communities too, but it pretty much is a 50-50 funding split. That's a number one. The Park District and city shall commit to 50-50 funding split of any planned and agreed upon paving and surface improvements.
Yeah. They want the local community to have some stake in it.
Which they should, which we should have.
I think so too.
Well, if it wasn't for them, we'd have to do it ourselves.
I know, yeah. But I mean, you know, on a 50-50
Right.
split, we ought to
Right.
have some input.
Well, not to mention, we need something back for our property
Yeah.
tax investment.
Right.
We're getting property tax bills, got a little bit of money going to them, so we need something coming back.
Is it a one-year agreement, or is it an ongoing agreement? Is it open-ended? How does that work?
I'm pretty sure it's open.
Open-ended?
I think it's open-ended. There's a mechanism for either side getting out, but
The
is it a
last-
5-year?
Yeah, 5 years.
5
This
year?
agreement shall be effective as the date listed above and shall remain effective for a term of 5 years. Parties may renew this agreement for additional term of 5 years upon the written execution of both parties. So after 5 years ago, you still want to continue this.
Yeah.
So they're gonna seal, their 50 cents on the dollar is gonna help what, seal, repair?
Well, that's my next topic. Number 2. on the agenda.
Oh, I see your request, okay. So
I'm getting to that. In fact, we'll just go right into it.
Jeff wants you to hurry up. See, that's.
Okay. We're going somewhere
It's
tonight?
10 after 6, Bob, look at you.
All right, number 2, the legislative request for sealing the bike path. The bike path that we're doing, the total cost is $21,585.28. But with the park district giving us half of that, then our share will be $10,792.64, and that will seal every bike path in the city, every one of them. We're gonna do Geller Park, the 1/3 path, paved path we have in there. I'm just gonna take that out of my budget. We didn't have that included in here originally. It's like $3,000 to do that, so I'll just do that within my budget. So so I'm asking for half of what.
I'm sorry, Bob. What
Yeah.
path was it that you just talked about?
One in Geller Park is paved,
The-
it's a third of a mile.
Oh, okay.
It goes around where we have the 4th of
Right.
July.
Yeah.
That's never been sealed, so it's around $3,000 to do that, so I'm just gonna do that within my budget. So this is legislative request to start that project.
And you'll get the agreement in place before we move forward with this, because we're only.
Yeah, we'll read this in 2 weeks. We should have the agreement back by then, so we should be okay. We could even read it one time before the agreement comes in.
You got an estimate on that, or what?
Yeah, so we'll just have to amend it.
Who's doing it?
One of these.
Ceiling?
Right?
If-
Yeah,
if-
yeah.
If it doesn't work out this way, if the agreement
Yeah,
doesn't.
molding.
It's the same company that's sealing the pool parking lot, right?
We had the same company that came and did the parking lot here, giving me a price, just for the pool parking lot alone was, what is the legislation, how much is that on tonight? Only show. On second reading.
25, 80?
25,821,
Yeah,
65.
the company that came here was, 40,000. 40,000, so that's a lot cheaper, and then they gave us a price on the bike path. Extreme Ceiling.
Thank you.
They're with Lawless. They did 79 for us, when we had that bad spot in front of Meritor. They came in and did that. They can do this, it's no different, I mean, it's what they're doing is just what everybody does. But they do that heat where they can kind of melt it down and smooth it out. It's a process they do, but they did 79.
They don't
So
need
we've
as
had
much
them before.
material then, they just kind of.
Right. So, yeah, they.
Can they
did
do that in
before.
streets?
Yeah, they did that right in front of Meritor.
No, I mean like the whole street.
Oh,
all the
I
way down the
don't know
street.
about that. They might need to melt down the Clarence Drive for us we got the.
Every hump.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
down a hump. Are there is there any damage beyond just the sealing process and large crack?
Path, with a path?
With the bike path, yeah.
I don't think so, I just noticed that.
You know, the only, and I don't walk every foot of the path, I probably should, but I don't.
Yeah.
The, western side of the South Fork, the nature thing, you know what I'm talking
Good.
about.
Is it real
Where
bad?
it goes under the trees and it's, yeah,
Okay.
that part.
Okay.
There's just, I think from roots, I think there's just some bumps and humps and things like that, that'd be nice if it could be smoothed out some.
Yeah, that's probably a process to look
Yeah.
at that.
Anything else on the ceiling of the bike path? Any questions, comments?
Number 3, my report last time. Charlie, Kyle, and Phil Mitchell had went to different schools. Heath, North, they had great turnouts. I think Licking Valley was a good turnout this year. Granville's always been so-so. But we try to hit most of the schools to get applications, and that has gone really well, so that helps us. Though we end up turning away, gosh, 50, 75 kids, we still have a lot of people who want to work at the pool, so that we go out there and get the ball rolling, so that is completed, and they had a good turnout with that, so we should have plenty of applications to work at the pool, especially when the lowest person now makes $8.10.
Yeah.
So. And those
I'm
are-
sorry. Did that sound as negative as?
As negative
You guys
as
better get him going for an hour on
Well,
that.
yeah, and we'll have, I mean, we'll have to have major discussions if they raise that minimum wage up to $15 talk, the way they're talking. If we have any way that we can talk to our legislators that we are a part-time operation with part-time people, if that ever happens, I don't think that we should
Even if it was
be
10?
required.
Even if it was 10?
If it was
No
10,
way.
then we should not be required to pay, that. It's just a part-time operation with part-time people.
Why can't we just contract labor them? 1099 all of them.
Contract labor would be different.
That's something to think about.
But we lose control. I mean, well, you mean paying what we want to pay them?
No, well, the difference is on that, but generally if you 1099 them, then they're a contractor, you really can't require them to show up at certain times.
Yeah, you lose a little control.
You lose a little control, but if they really want to have the opportunity
I
to do it,
don't
they're
know
gonna
if
be
you
there
can
at
do
the
that
same
with
time.
minors.
It's a way, that's about the only way around.
Oh, is that right?
I'm just saying, I don't know for sure.
What's that?
Can a minor be a contract labor? Because
I don't-
of labor laws? It'd be something else to look
That
into.
I don't know.
Well, those are all things we'll have to look at. Right
I
now,
was kind of wondering that.
Makes
too,
sense, I'm
because,
sure.
you know, for the kids to go
I don't
pay
think,
their own
I don't think
taxes.
you
Yeah.
can, but maybe I'm wrong. I think between like the age of 16 or 15 and 18, I don't think there's contract labor.
It should, but they put the law, this would affect a lot of people other than just pool employees though, because, summer employment everywhere, retail. I mean, that wasn't intended to be a living wage for anyone, and it's just, it's gonna be
That's what it
chaos.
is.
It's-
That's what
it's
it
gonna
is.
be
You know,
chaos
some
if
days
that
people are
happens.
living on $7.58 an hour, and, they've got to work 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. It's a hell of a.
But on the other side of that, if you raise that to $15 an hour, what about the person who's making 12 now, and bump them up to 50? It's like, because everything just costs more. If we raise it to $15 an hour,
Yeah.
everybody above the minimum wage, if they don't get raises that are comparable.
well, we
then
face,
they-
we face the same thing in the pool.
Yeah.
They
Right.
raised the minimum wage for our bottom people, now are making more than our top people were.
Yeah.
So we had to raise them
Yeah,
up a little bit. There wasn't
exactly.
incentive to be a lifeguard
Yeah.
or anything
Yeah.
else. So
Right.
that has hurt us.
Right. We can't solve that here today, but.
We could try.
Is that not on the agenda? Wow.
Well, we're gonna
That's
solve,
other-
we're gonna
other
solve
items.
that in the full council meeting, yes.
Got a lot of time here.
Anybody else have a solution before we move on to?
Macroeconomics
Yeah.
class.
Well, number 4, just, we're, Charlie's gearing up for our softball leagues, getting information out. We will have a flyer that goes out in the water bill, this time, I think. The first one in April. Jan's been working on that for us, so we'll have all the information about softball, volleyball, and,
Have her send an electronic version of that to me, so that I can put it on the city's Facebook page
Okay.
and Twitter page.
Yep, do that. We'll have swim lessons on that flyer. That's the main thing most people want to know.
Yeah.
So they can make their plans for their kids' swim lessons. Our rates will be on there.
You change the rates?
No, they're the same. We're thinking about some ideas for next year. We'll talk about that at another time. But, I think with the, yeah, they should be raised, but with the recession we had, I don't know. Raise those up. We have complaints that our walking rate's a little bit too high, but
Our
we're seeing
walk-in
memberships that
rates-
went down.
Our walk-in killed it last year, so.
Yeah.
so we-
It didn't keep people away.
Yeah.
Of course, we had, at least last month, we had decent weather.
And it's all based on weather, but
Yeah.
our memberships have been down, so it's
Our open number of days are down too, because of school.
Yeah.
Go later, open sooner.
great. That's all I have.
I got a couple of, oh, go ahead, Tim. Go ahead.
Oh, mine's bike path, the bike, railroad bike path that runs by the, trailer park here. Looks like they put a storm catch basin in their property and then ran it underneath the path.
Oh, they did? I didn't see that.
And it's the.
Did they open trench it and then?
Well, it looks like an open trench, and when they go right to the path, they must have pushed it under or something. But on both sides of the path, the ground is sunk probably about that far on both sides of it, where they didn't compact in and stuff.
Well, now, they
And
shouldn't have been allowed to do that. Don't we
that
have, we
was
have
how
an
they-
easement for
I don't know
that,
how they
right?
went across there, but there's the.
Some people just do
I don't know
whatever
if you
they
can see
want.
that. Can you see how far that drop is? And then there's the
And,
catch basin, and it went across the river and stuff. But I don't know whether they.
Who did it, do you think?
Oh, who
Park had to
knows?
have so, but it's right in the center. If you, there's, there you can see it barely in the trailer park. You can see it. If you scroll back the other way, the
I
picture,
think
you
they
can see
run
the drop off. Go the
storm
other
tile
direction.
through there, and somehow
And then
back
there's, you
underneath
can
the
see
bike
one
path
that's a
is
big drop
discharging
off
into
in the
the
river.
river is what
It's there, but
saying
it's, I
there.
mean, it's sheer, just like this, probably that far. You can see the.
We'll take Eddie out there and he has to send him a letter.
I see
they'll have to
bi- I
fix
see
it.
notice that
I agree.
bicycles go up through there. They-
I
they
mean,
had
well,
to start
that
a
and,
little bit.
again,
Well, how did they get it there?
there should be an easement or something that they shouldn't have been allowed to cross.
And I'm not sure how they just dump it straight into the river if that's what it's doing, because all the gas, cars leak gas or anything, and it's a straight shot
Yep.
to it and stuff. And nowadays, you're not supposed to do that without a filter and all that kind of stuff, so. They might have just, done it, but Debbie kept saying, why'd they do that? And I said, I didn't know anything about it, so.
Nobody knew anything about it.
Yeah, so I thought, well, I'll take some pictures so I remember to ask about it.
Send Rick out there and take a look at it.
Yeah.
Ron?
I overheard a conversation the other day, and they were talking about the bathrooms at Geller Park. Now, I don't know what, but they were really talking bad about them.
They're checked every day, every morning,
Yeah.
every day of the year, 365 days a year.
I've never been in one, so I.
They are
I
glorified
couldn't tell you.
porta-john, they're glorified porta-johns. We pump them out, we'll pump them out this spring, we pump them out in the fall, they get pumped out twice a year. There's stacks on there, they're supposed to take the odor out. Sometimes if you get a cold downdraft, it'll keep that from going out. I have to go back once in a while. But, if we put, you've hit something with me now, so. And I won't go.
Way to go.
But if you had real restrooms in there, they would be trashed. I mean, it would be awful.
Bob's rule is, if you can beat it with a baseball bat 6 times and it's not broken, then it can go in the park. Because that's what will happen. It'll get beat with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
We can clean those things too in the morning, and then, sometimes an hour later, somebody, you can't believe what people do. It's unbelievable. But if it was just a smell, I mean, we do pump those tanks out, and sometimes you get downdraft and you can't make it. But as far as being clean, we clean them every day, Hoback and in Geller Park.
I just passing on what I heard.
Where you gonna pass
I
on
know,
that?
it's
Air freshener.
Yeah.
it'd be nice if you could have something nicer, but there's always gonna be some jerk that's gonna rip it apart, and we'd be replacing it every time we turn around.
Just walk up and down the bike path certain areas. And I don't know
Yeah.
why they weren't trashing.
I got a couple of Arts Council Shea House things, and Bob, some of this is news to you even, because I just got it today. So, I got some information on. They got a couple of quotes for landscape work. I need to go over it with Denise because I want to make sure that we're comparing apples to apples, because one was significantly less than the other. So, I'm doing my homework on that a little bit. She also included this 2016 irrigation service agreement with Rain One.
Yeah.
Have we used them, do we use them all the time for the sprinkler
She
system
sends
out
all that
there?
stuff to me, I don't know why did she send it to you.
It's all right.
I don't know, I've taken care of both of those items for 15, 20 years.
Okay.
So I don't know why.
Also, as one of the 4 events, and, you know, we already have the money budgeted for this, but as one of the 4 events, coming up here, they are gonna have, I think they did this last year too. Yes, I'm sure they did this last year. The Princess Spring Garden Party. I received an updated budget projection for this event, and the cost of it went down $1,200 from the original budget projection that I had, down to a total of $2,300 for the event, which includes tent and chair rental, light lunch refreshments for an anticipated 150 guests. That's up from 100 guests that they had before.
Did you say 2,300?
2,300 total, yes.
And how many guests?
Well, on the original budget projection, we're gonna do a light lunch for 100 guests, estimated at $350. On this one, they have a light lunch for 150 guests, estimated at $250. So maybe they're planning on more people and downgraded the quality of the lunch. I don't know. But anyway, craft for 75 girls. So I think they're planning on 75. Which I remember when I met with Denise earlier about this, I think she said last year, and I'm just totally going off memory. I want to say last year they had 40, 50 kids, girls, you know, somewhere in that ballpark. So anyway, there's that as well. That's it.
That's it?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The landscaping, you know, I have all what we have spent since the beginning of time on all the landscaping.
I know.
And then
I was gonna sit down with you tomorrow
Yeah, and then
and
what
look
we
at this or
have,
something.
because when you compare those, you just have to see what each person is doing, how many times they're weeding a month, all that stuff, so. And the irrigation probably is the startup. They start it up and they close it, you know, they winterize it and all that
Yep,
stuff.
it'd be for the year, startup, backflow test, seasonal visit, singular, winterization, and shutting it off and getting the water out of the lines and that kind of stuff.
All right, anything else for Parks, Recreation, and Davis Shai? Anyone? Once? Twice? Adjourned at 6:27.
She's up.
Bob, if you want, tonight, before you leave, I'll give you a copy of those landscape things. I was gonna go over it with you this week, but I
Yeah,
just
that's
figured.
fine, I just,
So I,
usually, I mean, it's something that you shouldn't have to worry about, what I usually do is get those and then I come to you and ask them that much ahead.
You use
That's
his
how-
truck or you
I
have
don't
a
know why
truck to
she
get
sent
that
it to
board?
you directly.
That's what I was getting ready to ask you.
Gonna do that again? Yeah, just let me know when. All right.
You wanna get it that day? What are you doing?
Or you wanna do it Friday or Saturday?
See ya, thanks.
All right, no
I'm
problem.
actually
See ya.
available on
Yeah, we'll check
Saturday.
that out, see
All
what
right.
that's on it.
Well, we just do it Saturday, and take them right there and be done with it then.
All right.
Over by GFS, I think it's
Yeah.
that little jog right there
Okay.
before you
Yeah.
get to the light.
It's-
Is that this weekend?
Yeah, Saturday.
Okay, so we'll do it Saturday then.
300 Club dinner.
Let's just take Saturday.
around the corner and pick it up and put it.
I'll find out.
I won't ride on it.
Oh, it's John.
Oh, here, I'll tell you what,
They-
you guys take it, I'll get somebody else.
We ran into that a few times.
I hope they are. That's where I'm there.
That's okay.
You got it?
Yeah, $25.
You all right?
That's why I gave you another one.
Okay.
Oh,
Anything. Doors open at 5:30, dinner's at 6.
Yeah, I'll just charge 25 for the door this year.
Send us all. My grandson.
That's what I get from free.
I just didn't want to.
Sometimes I use them.
Well, I didn't know if
That's
you
what
were-
that's what I use them. I said, I'm storing them, I'm using them.
Sorry.
Hey, that's all right.
Hey, are you going Saturday?
Yeah. I got one ticket, I'll probably buy another one at the door.
Well, you can, yeah, she can get around.
Yeah, or they're just, we'll just go.
I'll,
Thanks
can I
for
borrow your
coming,
truck
Chris.
Saturday? Can I borrow your truck Saturday? Alright, we're good. Huh?
All right.
Don't tell him,
It
he'll have
is
Jamie go on your ticket.
6:29, we'll call the finance committee to order. Jay?
Okay, we have 4 items on the agenda here. The first one is what Bob just talked about, the 50/50 with the Parks Department, or the Licking County Parks District. So the request is appropriate within capital improvements $10,792.64 to seal the bike paths. Deb? What's that? Oh. Yeah. Cheated off the wings at work today. The second one, I'll go ahead and read it. This came out of Service Committee. An ordinance authorizing a change in capacity fees for water and sanitary 3/4 inch taps. Water capacity fee will increase to $3,000 and sewer would increase to $1,800. This is defined in the codified ordinance 921.01 Z1 and 3. And the request would suggest that it would go into effect July 1st, 2016.
Is that for residential or all taps?
All taps.
All taps.
All taps. So total like $4,800 to be able to do both.
Came out of-
Any questions? Rick, Dick, you got any other comments on this? Please, Deb? All right.
This also came out of Service. Resolution, ordinance authorizing cooperative agreement for planning of Linville Road water storage tank and water line project between the city of Heath and OWDA to obtain a loan for construction.
For the new tank.
On Service again?
Yep.
Anything else in the comments?
If we build it, they will come.
Hi, Dave.
Other than that, no.
Other than that, committee? Next.
And the last one, Bob, I guess since you're here, this was handed to me today, as well as Bob. We need to, Lynn came in and authorizing and directing the mayor to advertise for bids to purchase materials for street department and chemicals for the water and wastewater department from April 1, 2016 to March 31, 2017. According to specifications now on file at the city of Heath office. I think it's something we do every year.
It expires, the whole one expires the end of this month.
Yeah, so-
she wanted it, waiting.
Yeah, it's on for first reading and it'll be waiting, so. And it's something that we probably should have,
Coming out of his department?
your stuff too,
If you come out of street or
Street or-
water or wastewater,
Who wants to
it
sign
doesn't matter.
this? Doug? Want to grab that one?
it's coming out of here.
Streets.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is that for our aggregates and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And then all the chemicals at the water plant.
Any other comments?
Yeah, please, if you would, we appreciate you reading second reading and pass it.
And so that, all I have.
That's all you have? Anything else for finance? Adjourned at 6:34.
Caucus real quick or take a break? No? Need a break? All right. Invocation, Mr. Morrow. Special orders and committees, Lee County Board of Development and Awareness Month, is that you, Mayor, proclamation?
Yes.
Okay. The unfinished business, what is being amended about that, or what's the, just behind that?
It was originally set up.
Go ahead.
Originally set up, when you guys voted general fund to budget stabilization. It was a good thing. When it came out of the ordinance, it was typed up budget stabilization to general fund, so.
Oh, reverse.
It was, yeah, it was nothing more than the writing. You guys we were all happy. We talked about the $53,000 dollars, and when it came out of second reading, it went back to Becky, and as she was putting it in, she said, wait a minute, the wording's backwards. What do you mean? We pulled out the original that you guys had all agreed on, and it was a typo error.
You don't really need to amend when it's just a typo. You can just correct it and then have it re-signed.
Okay. So do we need to do something tonight on it or not?
No. If everybody agrees that it was just a typo, then there's no need to, you didn't change your mind, you just got moved wrong.
So they don't have to vote on an amended version of that?
No, it's just a corrected version, and you and I and Tim just sign a corrected version of it, and that's all we need to do.
Oh, okay.
Awful easy, we don't.
All right.
So under unfinished business, I don't even have to do this tonight?
No.
Okay.
Oh,
Scrap it.
Scrap that.
File 13 for the first reading. All right.
An amended is when you've done something, you decide to change what you've done, and then this, you didn't change your mind on anything, it's just a typo.
So when it was read, the first time it was read, budget statement into general fund, but when it got typed, or when we signed, the one we signed was typed the other way? Is that what happened?
When it originally
reverse,
came-
but yes, yeah.
Yeah, when it originally came through legislative committee, correct,
Okay.
and then
Yeah, okay.
typed up
Changed direction.
incorrectly.
Maybe we could have transferred a negative 53 cents from the budget.
Then it would've been all right.
Would that work?
Then it
Just
would've been
put a
all
negative
right.
sign in front of
Yes.
the original
I
and then
think
do the
so,
same thing, right?
yes.
Okay.
No, we're still on the right side.
No. What Tim's saying is,
a
instead of
very
having
funny
instead of
Switch
switching
words.
that, if we'd have had a negative.
For a negative, da-da-da.
Yeah.
I got you.
All right.
That would confuse the
Yeah.
auditors when they do our review next year.
All right, let's get down to introduction of ordinances. Ordinance 8. We just hold that, right?
I didn't know it's for, I wasn't.
Oh. It's tonight's thing. Oh, you don't know what it's for,
I
I'm
was,
sorry.
I was on vacation that meeting, so I didn't know it was for.
Equipment for vehicles, levy firewood.
Just for command vehicle? What is this for?
Mayor, do you know what
That was
this?
the extra money that he wanted.
Was it something that was shorted? I can't remember.
It was getting the money.
We'll have to do
Let's
stuff
ask
on
the
truck
Warren when he gets here.
That was for the equipment that was needed.
Oh, that's the
Yeah,
mount,
we
that's
had
the
to put
mount
the-
the equipment.
yeah,
Oh,
lights
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
Gotta
for the
mount
rescue
equipment.
truck.
Right.
You gotta take the
Yeah.
brand new truck to Springfield for another
That's
vendor
right.
to mount our equipment on it.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be the cost of that extra.
Yeah.
That's right.
We need to hold it, waive it?
I don't think he needed it.
No, I don't think so either. They're not picking up the truck until after you guys.
We're gonna hold until we hear otherwise. How about the sealing of the bike paths
Oh.
in ordinance 9?
Bob, you need to.
We don't need to waive
What's
that.
that?
No,
We
do
don't
not
need to waive
waive
that
that.
ceiling or anything like that.
No, we'll wait for the management.
All right. Get rid of the Dodge Charger, dispose of the Dodge Charger.
Hold it.
Hold that one. That's where you're different.
We'll take the rest of the week off.
Sewer fees can be held to another meeting.
Yep.
Water line storage tank,
I believe that can be held.
they can be held. Now, the last one, 13, we need to waive
Please.
waive that one. Who's gonna waive that tonight? Is that gonna be you, Doug? All right, now moving to the back page of that. We've got ordinance on second reading, ordinance 4, which is the sealing of the pool. So that would be,
Yeah.
and then we got purchase setup for the new PC for the zoning department, so I guess that'd be Cletus. And then we've got another one, Cletus, because that has to do with zoning. And the last one is the development regulations, that'd be yours too, Cletus. I don't know if anyone else actually read it. I had Eddie sent me a copy of those development regulations and stuff, and most of it was just kind of straightforward, making stuff a little bit different. So there was one place that was kind of confusing. I was going to ask Eddie about it, but
What part?
I knew you were going to ask me what I have in front of me. I can't remember exactly, but I think I'm trying to remember. I was going to print that part out. The way the heading was, and then later it talks about something else in the middle of it, but then I realized that's the way the current one talked about it. It almost seemed like it needed a separate heading. I think it said something about sanitary or storm, it talked about storm, and in the middle it says something about sanitary, I think, and it goes on. But I looked, and that's the original, does the same thing. So they weren't changing it, they were just keeping that part the same.
Yeah.
But it was like, it was confusing why it was in the middle of,
Yeah.
but it had to do
Maybe
with
it should have been
the-
corrected.
I think, but.
There they are.
Okay.
You have a copy?
No, I'm talking about the actual, regulate the 11 or 12, or
Oh.
how many pages thick the thing is, how many pages left. The actual, Article 11,
The regulations.
yeah, the actual regulations. Anything else? No, we're done with. Have a 50-minute break.
Yeah,
Is that what you got?
Yes.